Okay, so carry on with our catch-up week, man. This one over here is Young Soul Saturdays. This is for Sonia. We're just catching up. We're catching up 3 extended series this week, just to let you guys know. So we're doing the Young Soul Saturdays, we're doing the REF Fridays, and then we're doing the Choz's Monday. We're only catching up a couple of ones that sort of we just fell behind, or like sort of exterior ones that were added to the series. So this week is just a catch-up week. I want to let you guys know about that, and then by Friday we'll be back to the normal scheduling. We'll get REF Friday as per usual. We'll get the Young Soul Saturday as per usual, and then we'll get the Choza Monday as per usual until that's complete. Those are actually, Choza Monday is probably going to be finished soon, and then we've also got the Campbell Cravens one that we're going to be catching up this week as well. I was away for a week and a half, so that's why we have to just catch up some of these, and then we've got Ellie Anthems coming as well. So I want to use this next 2 weeks to just catch up on everything for everybody, and then get that out the way, do the Ellie Anthems, and then we're done. So yeah, let's rock and roll. Let's see what we got over here. This is Hyun Woo, My Enemy. We have reacted to this artist before, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, there's a message from Sonia over here that says, recap, Hyun Woo is a lead vocalist of South Korean rock band Guckkasten. Okay, I remember that. You have done reactions to their music, Home, Like the Sun, Diamond, and Pulse. Don't remember that. Note, 57 seconds into the video, there is English explanation of the song. Alrighty, let's rock and roll. So yeah, so just to let you guys know, over the next 3 days, you're going to get 3 reactions from each one of these series, from Young Soul Saturdays, REF Fridays, and then Choza Monday, because we're just catching those up, and then we're going back to our normal scheduling. Let's rock and roll. Let's see what we got. My Ego, Anti-Ego. Where are we? That is not in English. Let's try just go to the 57 seconds here. 57. Okay, that's in English. Okay, so basically it says over here, My Enemy is the first cut from Hyun Woo's second solo album released in March 2022 after almost 4 years. The album has a very specific message about what's inside us, and specifically the song My Enemy details with the internal conflict that we carry. In the author's words, the main theme, My Enemy, is a story about concern and questions within the arrogance of an ego that resides in the false belief of self-confidence, very pertinent today with our younger generation. It is also, actually even with our older generation, it is also about the me at first sight as found in many ego-created lies of spiritual modernism. It is about the me as it is, and about the enemy called me, of whom one must be more cautious. Okay, this sounds very, very interesting and very down my alley. Let's go. Let's get in there. There we are. I like that beatboxy type feel, that beatboxy type sound. Very cool. I can immediately see the precedence of this. I can see the concept of this. It's actually very, very cool. So she's obviously a young girl. She's lying in the elevator, isolated place, right? And that's kind of, the elevator represents life's ups and downs. And life's ups and downs can drive you absolutely insane. It's maddening. This kind of feels like a mental asylum over there, and that dark orb is basically your self-consciousness, right? That's basically the devil that lives within you, right? Although every time you try to tell yourself that I am this person, I am who I am, I identify as this, this is whatever else, the moment you walk away from reality, the moment you walk away from the truth, right, you're always going to be left with that dark space, because you're rubbing up against reality, and you can rub up against reality all you want. Reality will always win, which means you're always left with this darkness inside. You're always left with this heavy weight within you. That consciousness will play on you all of the time, specifically when you're narcissistic, when you're nihilistic, when you think that you are the center of the universe, when you self-aggrandizing. It's crazy because you think that you're the most special. You think that you have no flaws. You're always pointing fingers at other people, but somehow you're never content with yourself, and you don't know why, because you are not willing to look at your own flaws. You're not willing to look at in the mirror, right? So you come up with all of these sort of coping mechanism and these coping type strategies to try and deal with someone that you're not. Right? And it's all to keep you as far away from the truth as possible, because you've created this idea of yourself, and God forbid that you shatter this idea of yourself, right? Now that you are the self-aggrandizing, on the soapbox kind of person that points a finger at everybody else. All right, God forbid that you look at that and realize that you yourself are flawed, and you yourself should probably focus on yourself as opposed to pointing fingers outward, because we're all fallen souls. But you get that a lot in society today, where everyone feels they're more special than the other person, right? Just because they decide to, like, I don't know, attach themselves to some movement, and now all of a sudden they're fucking beyond God now. Do you know what I mean? And that actually speaks to the narcissism in society today. But anyway, carry on.
속에 있나 더 얼마나 불러야만 더 얼마나 걸어야만 만날 수 있을까 고난에 잠겼나 더 얼마나 아파야만 더 얼마나 견뎌야만
that dark thing will follow you, man. That dark sphere will follow you, man, and it will be very difficult to shake that off. You know, a lot of people will need psychological help. They'll need to see someone. They'll need to seek some sort of psychological assistance, because the longer you're ingrained in that, the more you sort of get entrenched in your denialism, right? You deny that you are this kind of person. You deny that you do those kind of things. Right? And you just live with that darkness, that like log that sits in your heart, that you just don't understand why you can't. And that over there is very triggering, essentially, right? When you're living with that darkness, that dark orb that always follows you, right? Anything that is given to you as feedback, you snap. Why? Because you take it as a character assassination. You take it as a character attack. Someone could just give you feedback, and instead of listening to the feedback, that feedback will possibly help you, right? You immediately fly off the handle in your attack, right? You become unhinged, right? How dare you? Who are you to tell me this? You don't know me, blah, 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 blah. You've heard all of this before from, young kids. And that over there is what will absolutely just shatter you. And it'll eventually get to a point when you're older, when you're not so stupid, like when in your teens and your 20s, where you don't really see the world for what it is. It's only when your prefrontal cortex is actually properly developed you start to realize that, the things you did in your 20s and things you did in your teens were so stupid. Why? Because you were immature, you were young. Right? You were learning, you were young. But people today, these youngsters and these younger kids will hold on. And I'm not saying just these kids. I mean, it happened in generations and generations before, that they hold on to their ideas, right? And they think that those ideas are everything. It's like they think they're right? They don't know the world for nothing. They don't know the world for anything. They're still learning how the world works, but they think they know everything. And people who have been on this planet way longer than them, right, are the idiots. Right? Oh, okay, boomer. Okay. Well, I've lived here. I've probably been here 2-3 decades. Not me personally, but I'm saying your dad or whatever else probably been there 2-3 decades. Well, he has been there 2-3 decades before you, but you tend to think that you know the world better than he does, right? Okay, well, we'll see how that plays out. And then you find them completely in utter chaos and turmoil and psychological turmoil. And then afterwards, they start playing the victim. And they'd be like, oh no, but it's this, it's everybody else's fault and stuff like that, right? But when you going around spewing all of your narcissism all over the show, right, people must take that. But the moment you start realizing that your whole life, because of that narcissism, is in complete chaos and collapse, then it's everybody else's fault, right? You eventually see that as you get older. You see that. You start to morph in that mirror. and you start to look at yourself for who you really are. And that's a frightening concept. The only problem today, which was very different of back in the day, is back in the day you could actually be left alone with your thoughts, and you were forced to just think about it. Today, you can't be left alone with your thoughts anymore because every single time those thoughts creep into your head, you pick this fucking thing up to try and distract you. You pick this thing up and it's almost automatic. It's crazy. It's automatic. The moment you start to pick it up, I find myself doing that sometimes, right? Where you get lost in it, pick up the phone, right? And you get distracted with absolutely superficial garbage on social media. That's why I've deleted all of my fucking social media. I don't have nothing. I've only got YouTube. You won't find me on social media. If you want to talk to me, you'll find me on the Fable sphere. But I'm not in with that fucking bullshit anymore. Any of that fuck. And it's not even to be self-righteous or anything like that. It's just better for your overall mental state. All right, to not need to pick this fucking thing up every single time. What I do pick this thing up now for is to read playbooks. I've just recently I said 2-3 months, started reading all my books on playbooks. It's absolutely amazing, because if there's any sort of terminology that I don't understand, you can just tap the word and it gives you the definition. So I read books on my phone now, and it's far more mind settling than the social media garbage that was on that phone. This phone is basically a dumb phone now. It's got my YouTube on it, and it's got my books on it. It's amazing. Carry on.
수없이 크겨 넣은 그 원을 모두 버리면 남은 남을까?
I love the fact that the orb is actually following her around, because that's indicative of the idea that you can't run away from yourself, right? And that's what happens today. You know, you have this thing, it's like, oh, I need to change something. I'm unhappy. I need to change something. So I need to move. I need to move somewhere else, right? Because as if the location is going to change something for you. If you're not happy with where you are in terms of your location, if you're not happy with the people that are around you and whatever else, that it's indicative of your psychological state, essentially. Either you need to change something, where it's like, if these are people that are negatively affecting you, absolutely change those. But a lot of the times you find people, they need something, they need more. Right? In order for me to be happy, I need more money. In order for me to be happy, I need another job. In order for me to be happy, I need to be living by the coast. In order for me to be happy, that kind of thing. It's all this runaway thing. It's all this, in order for me to be happy, I need to have some sort of material gain. Right? And that orb will never stop following you, right? Because you're not happy with yourself. You can't run away from yourself. You will have to live with yourself wherever you are. You will have to live with yourself in whichever job you're in. You'll have to live with yourself in any sort of circumstance. If you're not content with who you are, none of those changes are going to change you. Not buying a Ferrari, not having more money, not having a better job, not moving to the coast. None of that is going to change. That orb will stay with you. Do you know what I mean? So I like the representation of that.
Am I 재물이 되었나? 더 얼마나 건네야만, 더 얼마나 넘겨야만 건널 수 있을까? Am I
I really like this video.
모두 지우면 내가 보일까? Wake up from me, wake up from me.
again, a great representation in terms of how that orb formed into what seems like a black hole that's just sort of pulling everything into the center, like, right? And that is a great representation of how that sort of narcissism can be all-consuming, and it just pulls you in, right? It's almost a force you can't control after a while, because it's your mind, it's this habitual state where you think that you are right, you think that you are the greatest, you think that the me is the most important, right? And that becomes a black hole that just drags you more in and more in and more in. And the deeper you go down that, if you're not willing to sort of open your eyes and realize that the space you're in is due to yourself, not due to anybody else, if you're not willing to take responsibility and accountability for your own actions and for who you are as a person, right? And you get dragged into that black hole, it's about sort of switching to mindset. You just switch that and be like, wait a second, why am I in this, right? There's got to be, it can't be everybody else that's affecting my thing. You've got control of your own fucking life. You can decide what you want to do with your own fucking life, right? In every single circumstance in your life, you've got control, almost every single circumstance. But even in the circumstances you don't have control of, you should blame yourself for whatever outcome of that is. Not because it's right to blame yourself, it's because you want to consistently keep that control, right? You want to keep that control and that accountability. Everything, the mindset needs to be that everything is within your control. Every single thing is your fault. Every single thing is your accountability, because that is a way that you don't relinquish your power to just what is, the universe. You know what I mean? Anyway, I like that. Let's go.
Wake up from me.
And we just keep falling deeper and deeper and deeper into that hole of me. No, it's more for me. We keep, and we find that a lot in today's society, where people just keep falling deeper and deeper into that hole of me. I'm more special. The world needs to revolve around me. I should be the center of your universe, because in order for me to affirm who I am, I need you to affirm who I am, right? Does that say that you're confident and that you're happy with yourself? No, it doesn't, because if you're happy with yourself, you don't give a fuck what other people say. You don't give a fuck about other people's affirmations of who you are, what people call you, what pronouns they use. No one, you shouldn't give a fuck about that. Only insecure people, right, who are deeply unhappy with themselves, care about what the world thinks of them, care about what the world says of them, care about what the world calls them, care about what pronouns people are using. Only the deeply firstly self-entitled, secondly the deeply unaware people care about that kind of thing. Because if you're happy with who you are, you don't care what other people say. Literally, it doesn't matter what people call. People have called me God knows how many names on this fucking platform. People have called me homophobic for views, although I've never been homophobic. People have called me racist on my views, although I've never been racist on my channel. People have called me everything else, and you know what I said? You can say what you want. I know who I am. I know who I am, I know what my thoughts are, I know my ideologies. I'm very comfortable with them, and I'm very happy to discuss them, and I'm very happy to take feedback on them, and I'm very happy to expand on that feedback on them. So whatever you call me, it doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything about my psyche, essentially. I'm happy to take the feedback if you're willing to come and give it to me in a respectful manner. But if you're just going to go into my comment section and just call me slurs, I'm like, all right, fuck, cool. I mean, whatever, call me what you like, as long as you don't call me late for dinner. Tom McDonald stole my fucking line, just by the way. But anyway, I love you all. Please stay safe, please stay healthy. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.